in section C, we're going to look at measures of the center. And what we mean by the center is where is the average, the typical, the middle value in a list of numbers. The two most common things we're going to use are mean and median. You may have also heard of mode, the most common number, but we're going to focus on the mean, which is the average, adding them all together and dividing by the total, and the median, which is the center number. So down here we have those definitions for you. The mean, adding them all together and dividing by the total. And then the median is you put all the numbers in order and you literally find which number is in the middle. And it doesn't matter how big or small the other numbers are. The easiest way to look at this is through some examples. First one, 5 students took a test with the following scores: 68, 92, 88, 81, 78. So first thing I want to do is put the numbers in order. I have my smallest number, 68. Then I have, and usually as I do this I like to cross them out so I can keep track of what I've used. I have 78, 81, 88, and then 92. And so you write those down in order. Now the number in the middle, dead center, 2 on the left, 2 on the right, is going to be 81. So the median is 81. So that's very easy to find. Just put them in order and find the middle. Remember, if you have an even number of things where you have 2 middles, you would add the 2 numbers together and divide by 2. But we don't have that, so we just pick the middle number. Second thing here, if you're going to find the mean, you add all these numbers together. And to do that, you're going to want to pull out your calculator. And I type in all 5 of my numbers into my calculator, and I can add those all together. And it doesn't matter since we're adding which order they go in. So I'm just typing it in the order of the original list, and I get my total of 407. So I add them together, I get 407. How many numbers do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 numbers. So to find the mean, I take that number, that total, divide it by 5, and I get 81.4. Now, you'll notice that the mean and the median are not the same. In this case, they happen to be very close. Generally, they're both going to be somewhat close, but not always, obviously, as close as this. This is fairly unusual to have them this close to one another. It means that the distribution is probably fairly symmetrical, where both halves are roughly the same. If we remember that normal curve, that basic shape we talked about earlier, when the mean and median are really close to each other, that generally means that we follow some kind of symmetrical shape. Second example, we have a lot more numbers in this list. So these numbers are already in order for us, and we need to find the median. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 15 numbers, and the 8th one in then is going to be the middle. So the median is going to be 16. Now, the second thing here, it says use the stats function on your calculator. You could add all these numbers together and divide by 15, just like we did in the earlier example. But what we're going to find is when we start doing the next section, looking at standard deviation and interquartile range and whatnot, our calculators can do a lot of this all in one step. We type in the list of numbers once, and the calculator will spit out all of these values. So I'm going to show you how I do it on the TI-83 or 84. If you have a different calculator, we have a reference sheet that you can look up on Moodle that will give you instructions on how to do it on your particular calculator. So that's something we'll have some practice with in classes, finding those functions, but you can help each other out, anyone that has the same calculator as one another. So to give this a try, I'm going to go to the Stat button on this calculator and click Edit. And note that we have some of these in the classroom that you can use if you do not have a calculator. I went up to where it says L1, so L1 is now highlighted, and I hit clear and enter if there was anything in there. Then I type in all of these numbers, hitting enter in between each one. So I'm going to type all these in, pause the video for those of you with a different calculator that don't want to wait for me. Alright, so I have all the numbers in my calculator, and I have a function now where I can push stat, go to Calc, and where it says 1 bar stats, I click enter and click enter a second time. And this brings up a list of crazy looking symbols and numbers. So I'm going to drag in this output, because this output will probably have similar symbols on most of the calculators, so you'll be able to get used to these symbols. Now the mean, the average, is labeled as X bar. This little thing right here, X with a bar on top, that's why we call it X bar. And in this case, it looks like it is 14.9 if we were to round off to 1 decimal. So 14.9 is the mean or the average. There are some other statistics that are located down here, and we're going to talk about those in the next video.